talk about how to calculate significant figures. More specifically, we'll have some addition and subtraction problems where the rules will stay the same for those particular problems, and we'll follow through with some multiplication and division problems, which also have the same rules. However, those rules, multiplication and division rules, are different than addition and subtraction rules. So the first thing we want to remember is that addition and subtraction, the answers are expressed to the place value equivalent to the least accurate number in the problem. Now here's a little quick reference chart that I wanted to give you. You can see the decimal right there in the center. If you move to the right, you have the below a whole number, it's going to be a point number, and then move to the left, and those are going to be whole number values. So we're going to be studying really what's going to be on the right of that decimal here. So basically what I'm saying is the least amount of numbers behind the decimal will win, okay? The least amount of numbers behind the decimal will win. So let's do an example. Example number 1, we have 8.2087 plus 2.430 plus 0.09. Now our first number is in the 10,000ths place. If I look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 place values beyond the decimal, and if I look at my place value chart over on the right hand side, I see that my fourth from the decimal is going to be the 10,000ths place value. The next one is 2.430. That's going to fall in our thousandths place, and then of course our 0.09, which falls into our hundredths place. Let's take these numbers, plug them right into our calculator. We get 10.7287. Now, the rule that we want to remember is that we're going to round to the least precise number in the given equation. What that is in this particular given problem is going to be the hundredths place. So we round our 10.7287 to 10.73, and that will be our final answer. For example number 2, we're going to do a subtraction problem. Now remember, I told you that the subtraction rules and the addition rules are in fact the same. So we have 23 minus 16.4 minus 22.0. Now the 23 has no decimal place. That 16.4 falls in that 10th decimal place, and then the 22.0 also falls in that 10th decimal place. Let's plug those figures into our calculator, and we get 17.4. Now we're going to the no decimal place because it is the least accurate or least precise number in our given problem. So 17 will be our final answer. For example 3, in addition and subtraction, I want to give you a little bit of mixed media because I want you to understand that the rules don't change between addition and subtraction. So we have 7.6924 plus 9.6 minus 4.888. Now our 7.6924 falls into the 10,000ths place, our 9.6 falls into the 10ths place, and then our 4.888 falls into the thousandths place. We're going to put those values into our calculator, and we come back with a 12.4044. Our final answer is going to be rounded to the 10ths place, and so we're looking at a final answer of 12.4. Let's talk about multiplication and division for just a minute. I told you when we first started the video that the rules do change for multiplication and division, and a lot of students find multiplication and division a little bit easier to comprehend than the addition and subtraction, while they are both fairly easy to understand if they're explained to you properly. So let's just start with the first one, 1.008 times 4.67. Well, the value with the lowest number of significant figures is going to tell you how many significant figures you're going to have in your answer. So if you look at the first number, this number has 4 significant figures, and then the second value we've been given has 3 significant figures. So let's plug it into our calculator. We get 4.70736. We know that we need 3 significant figures because it is the least amount of significant figures in our given problem. Which one has it? And it is this value right here, 4.67 which is 3 sig figs. That means we round our answer to 3 significant figures, 4.71, which is your final answer. If we do a second example problem, we're going to go ahead and say it's 10.67 times 1.01. 10.67, you guessed it, 4 sig figs, and 1.01, guessed it again, 3 significant figures. We plug it into our calculator, we get 10.7767, where we're going to round to 3 significant figures. We're going to end up with a 10.8 will be our final answer with 3 sig figs. Let's do a quick division problem. This is going to be example number 3. We're just going to divide 21.6 divided by 0.067. Now, that 21.6, how many sig figs, you ask? 3. And then that 0.067, that's a little bit tricky. Back and look at the rules if this is confusing you. You do have 6 0 rules that go along with sig figs. This one has 2 sig figs. Plug it into my calculator. I get 322.3880597. I know I need 2 significant figures, and so my final answer will be 320. So I hope this video gives you a little bit of clarification on how to calculate significant figures, whether we're working in addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. If you're still having questions and having problems, be sure to reach out to your instructor.